Welcome all. In this session, we will see about the chapter Limnology, its key points, what is most important to remember for the exam point of view. We will see it. First, we will learn the word limnology. Where it has origin is, it is a Greek word. Limnology is separated into two words, limni and logos. Limni's meaning is a lake. Logos meaning is knowledge. So we came to know we are going to study about the lakes. This term is first proposed by or coined by Francos Alphonsus Forel. He is also called the founder and the father of modern limnology. The person who has discovered the thermal stratification is Simony. You have to remember the person's name and what they discovered. It is most important. So on here remember Simony discovered thermal stratification and Francois Alphonsus Forel coined the word limnology, and also he is the founder and the father of the modern limnology. It's most important to remember on here. The Forel has established society which is called as Limnological Society in the year 1887. The same society has later changed its name into International Commission of Limnology in the year 1890. Afterward, in 1922, two persons naming August Steeman and Einar Norman created the International Society of Limnology. So these are three kind of societies. We have to remember it. Next, we will see about the definition of limnology. We will see the most important definition only. According to Welch 1963, limnology, it is a branch of science. It is majorly dealing with the biological productivity of the human waters. This word is more important, biological productivity. And with all the casual influence which determine it. Welch has also mentioned like this biological productivity is the central theme of the limnology. It means it is majorly based on the biological productivity. Here we will see about the world's largest, longest freshwater resources. First one is a largest lake by surface area is Michigan Kurokan. Michigan and Huron are two different lakes. When they combine it together, they are saying it is the largest lake by surface area. If they ask separately which is the largest lake by surface area is Lake Superior. Next is Lake Huron. It is having the longest lake coastline in the world. Next is the largest island in a freshwater lake is present in the same Lake Huron. The island name is Manitoulin Island. Where is the world's smallest geological ocean? Answer is Caspian Sea. Next is where is the deepest lake in the world? The first answer is Lake Baikal in Siberia. Next, the world's lowest lake is Dead Sea. The world's longest lake is Tanzania. Second longest lake is Baikal Lake. As we have known, the largest lake by volume, the first is Baikal. The second position is given to Tanzania. The world's oldest lake is, the first answer is Lake Baikal. The second answer will be Lake Tanzania. Next is the world highest lake. If only they have mentioned the highest is Crater Lake. When is the highest large freshwater lake in the world is Lake Mansarovar. Remember all the longest, largest and the oldest lakes on here. Next we will see about the lake zonations. The zonation is most important. Try to remember the zones correctly. First zone is named as littoral. Littoral means just starting from the shore. It will be above the waves and the spray zones. Their light is also very less, so it is not that much sufficient for for the rooted plants to grow. So light is less available for the sufficient rooted plants to grow on this littoral zone. Second is photic. From the name itself you can see photic means the zone is having more light. It is also a well mixed area. How much percent of the light is reaching the surface is 1%. Next zone is aphotic zone. From the name itself you can see aphotic means no light in that area. It is present below the littoral and photic zones. As I already said, the light is less, so photosynthesis will not take place that much. Respiration will take place in all the depths. When we see the aphotic zone, it will be mostly of oxygen consumption only. Here the deepest zone is called the profundal zone. Next we will see about compensation depth. This depth is most important. They have asked in many years papers also what is compensation depth means. The depth at which the photosynthesis will be equal to the respiration. It is called the compensation depth. Next zone is sublittoral zone. That is the deepest area where we can able to see some plant growth is there. Where this zone is present is like the sublittoral zone is present between the littoral and the profundal zone. Next zone is pelagic or limictic zone. Pelagic means we can say it will be in the surface area. So it is a surface layer. It will be somewhat offshore. Beyond the shoreline it will be there. There are some classifications of ponds. Here is a classification of 3 types. One is vernal ponds, other is vernal autumnal pond, the third is estival pond. Vernal, it means spring. So, from the name itself you can see water exists during the spring. The second one is vernal autumnal pond. Same, from the name itself you can say water is present in spring and autumn, so that it will be dry in the summer. Estival pond means here in the both above things, from the name itself we can say the water existence. But here in the estival ponds, waters will be present all over the time, but it will get freeze during winter time. This classification is most important. You will learn this classification very easily. First classification is tectonic lake. Tectonic means it is some kind of movements in the earth's crust. So from the name itself you can say due to the movements of earth's crust, the lake has been formed. Next is crater lake or volcanic lake. That means volcanic lake means when a volcano is there, it will get some precipitation and later it gets changed into a lake zone. Example of it is Crater Lake in Oregon, USA. Glacial Lake formation is due to, from the name itself, it's due to glacial movements. Example of it is Finger Lakes of New York. Basal Rock Dissolution Lake. So some kind of things has got soluble in it. So for example, calcium carbonate has got soluble in that zone. Example of it is Clear Lake in California and Deep Lake in Florida, USA. Then Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lakes means after some time the river may change its course, so it will form some kind of crescent shape in that area. It will get cut off from the parent river also. So example of it is like Dal and Ular Lake of Kashmir. Fluvial lake. Fluvial means what? River. So it has formed due to some river activity. Allowing. Allowing is like wind. So it has formed due to wind activity. Shoreline lake means it's mostly due to some irregularities or inundations along the shoreline. Next is reservoir lakes or man-made lakes. That means we itself have created a lake, or we itself has created some reservoirs. Example of it is Tungabhadra or Bakranangal reservoir. Bog lake is mostly present in the North Temperate, and it is in the glacial region where there will be more precipitation. throughout the year. In bog we can see peat deposits will be more. It is forming like a false bottom in that area. Next is salt lake. Example of it is Lake Bonneville, Lahantru of southwestern United States, Great Salt Lake of Utah, and Lake Walker and Pramit in Nevada. Hutchinson has classified the lakes into amictic, monomictic, polymitic. From the name itself we can see mitic means mixing, a means no mixing, monomictic means only one mixing is there, poly means more, mixing is like continuous one. Under the monomictic there are two types, one is cold and one is warm. Cold means the water, it will never exceed above 4 in both top and the bottom waters. In warm meeting, here we can see temperature never falls below 4 in any depth. It might be a top or bottom also. Cold means you can say it will be like mostly ice bound one or ice covered. That too only in the winter time. Here if we see the top water is having 0, the bottom is having 4. So we call it as inverse thermal stratification. Here the top water is having a 10 to 20 and bottom is having 8 to 4 degrees Celsius. So here it is direct thermal stratification. So mixing is only one time. But when it is mixing, the cold monomictic is mixing during spring or summer. Here only mixes winter. It will be opposite to the name. If it is warm, it will mix in winter. If it is cold, it will mix in summer or spring. Example of cold monomictic is like mostly present in the polar lakes. Warm monomictic example is mostly subtropical deep lakes. Next we will see the largest lake where surface area continent wise we will see. In Australia, the largest lake is Lake Eyre. Africa, Lake Victoria. Antarctica is Lake Osta. Asia is Lake Baikal. Europe is Ladoga. In North America, Michigan Huron. And the Lake Superior. Both are there. They say both means largest will be like Lake Superior. Next, in South America is Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca is also the highest lake which is navigable. That means boats can pass to this lake. Next we will see about some of the water quality parameters in the lake. First we will see about solubility of gases. How temperature and pressure is playing a role. Solubility of a gases is having a direct relationship with pressure. It will get decreased when the pressure gets decreased. And solubility of gases and temperature is like indirect relationships. That is, by increasing temperature more, solubility get decreased more. Same thing, rise in temperature means solubility will get reduced more in that area. Next, if it is having more concentration dissolved salts, it is having more salt also, solubility will get decreased. Solubility will be more when the gases are at dry state compared to the water vapor state. For increasing the solubility, the wave action is playing a greater role. By some kind of agitation, some kind of movement in the water, rate of solubility will get increased. Next we will see about solubility of solids in water. The solubility of solids is not that much dependent on the pressure, but it will get increases with the temperature. Mostly they will express the solubility of gases using this Henry's law. This is most important. Like if in a water body 1 degree Celsius of temperature get increased means the organisms present in the water column, for example fish, the metabolism will get increased to 10%. So whenever a temperature get increased, Metabolism is also getting increased by 10%. If in a water column, temperature is increasing by 10 degrees Celsius means the rate of oxygen consumption and carbon dioxide output will get doubles. These two relationships are most important. Remember it. Next we will see about the anions or cations present in the fresh water. What is the principal anion in most fresh water is like carbonate. Next to carbonate, sulfate is present. This silica is most abundant element in the lithosphere zone. It is in the earth. Next we will see about the cation. Among the cation, the second most abundant is magnesium. Next, potassium. Potassium is like looking close related to sodium. It is occupying the range of 4th in the cation. So remember the anion and cations and what are the ranks, like first, second, third rank it is occupying in the water column. This is next classification. Based on the temperatures they have classified into tropical, temperate and polar lake. Tropical means in which the surface temperature, it is like always above the 4 degrees Celsius. Name itself we can say tropical means above 4 degrees Celsius. We are having mostly tropical lakes. Next is temperate. Temperate means it will be like above and below the 4 degrees Celsius. Polar lakes means always below 4 only. It will never go above 4 degrees Celsius. Next, this line is more important. How is the thermal conductivity of water? It will be like very low. These 3 zones are most important. When a water column is forming some stratification, we are dividing it into 3 columns: epilimnion, metalimnion and hypolimnion. Epi means above, meta means between middle, hypo means bottom. The epi will be having the warmer layer. This hypolimnion is like stagnant. It will not get that much mix due to the formation of thermocline in that lake. The temperature of epilimnion will be around 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. Hypolimnion is 5 to 7. This thermocline will be between these two temperature ranges. So remember it always. Epi means above, thermo means middle, hypo means bottom layer. This has asked in most previous papers also. Where is the epilimnion present, where is the hypolimnion present, and where is the thermocline or metalimnion is present. So remember it. Next we will see about the intensity. What is meant by intensity means it is the how much quanta of light passing through a unit area. What is the unit of it? Light intensity is most important, is lux. Wavelength. It is the measure of the light color. The visible wavelength range is around 400 to 770 nanometer. Ultraviolet light is 286 to 400 nanometer.